Hello everyone, welcome to the new video. So today we played as white against MarkMakers, a really nice person. I had a chance to chat with him. We actually analyzed a little bit after the game. So a completely pleasant experience, regardless of the result of the game. So let's see. I started with d4 and we quickly got into typical London position. I'm not going to spend much time on the opening because some really interesting stuff happens later. So let's see. He took here, open my H file. It seems like nothing, but actually later it was one of the decisive factors. Rook b8, interesting move, preparing the minority attack. That's logical, but let's see. After a couple of simple moves, we got to this position. And here, suddenly, white's advantage is huge, and it is all thanks to the fact that he hasn't castled, and this rook is on this file and it can support this advance. For example, if I were to castle here, I would lose most of my advantage, but I didn't do that. I supported the e5 pawn, and after knight c5 I played g4. Yeah, I wanted to preserve this bishop, but I was a little bit scared that after b6 he will get in his light square bishop on this diagonal. A computer says that this is fine and that's the best for white, but I didn't see that, and I played what I understand. And what was that? I pushed g4, and here he exchanged his beautiful knight for my bishop, and suddenly I have a big advantage on the king side. I have three pieces, yeah, the queen, the knight, and my rook, and also this pawn is ready. So it's a big advantage in pieces, in forces on the king side. He played b5, and after g5 he cannot take, of course. If he takes, everybody can see it's a checkmate in one move. So best is to ignore. That's what he did. He started the counterattack on the queen side, and I took the pawn, and he has to push g6 to prevent checkmate. And now I castled, because I cannot utilize this rook anymore. Anytime I give a check, he will just hide and use my pawn as a shield. So I just castled, and it's not easy for him to pick up this pawn. Yes, it's not going to promote or anything, but the pawn is controlling g7, and it's a very unpleasant pawn that makes black worry about this queen getting to g7. Now it's far-fetched, but it's in the air. It's always in the air. So we exchanged pawns on c3, and he played bishop d7, and now the best black's piece is rook on b8. So I played rook b1, trying to exchange his only active piece, and he connected his rooks, and then I played queen e3 with the idea that if he goes for the massive exchange of all four rooks, then after queen g5 it seems that queen f8 is the only move, but now I can actually either win this bishop, because after this move I'm threatening this, and if he takes, I'm winning the bishop. If he doesn't give me the bishop, he gets checkmated. So yeah, that is not possible. Exchanging all four rooks is not possible. So Mark tried bishop b5. He attacked my rook on f1, but I didn't move it. I played queen f4. Of course, if he takes that rook, then checkmate will come in two moves. So I expected him to play queen d8, and here I prepared a beautiful move, a4, attacking the bishop, and when it takes the rook, again we have the same story. This didn't happen because he found a much better move, queen e7. Now if I do a4, his rook can't capture. But I have another move, knight d4, because the point is this bishop is controlling the c6 square, and if I get there with my knight, I will attack the queen and I will chase it from this diagonal, which means that I can do this. So remember when I told you that queen can come to g7? in the future, and let's see, something similar happened. So he took my rook, and after knight c6, the queen has no squares. If the queen moves, black gets checkmated, but he can do something else. He can take my rook on b1, I take his queen with check, and here, how to proceed? I mean, I have a queen for 2 rooks, but I want to put my queen here, but it's hard. So I made a mistake. I played queen f6. After the game, Mark and I analyzed, and we concluded that white must keep this pawn. With king h2, preparing g4 and g5. Of course, black will try something like this. With the rook, so that's why probably white needs to bring his knight back. It's not so easy, but the key is not to give up this pawn, because we need it in order to have this checkmating threat. So I failed to appreciate it, so I gave up this pawn thinking that something will happen. Actually, I wanted to take here, but it doesn't work, because yeah, this is a pin, but he has a discover check, and then I lose my knight. So because of that, I actually had to move my king first, and now there is no knight g6, and there is no checkmate. I lost my advantage. But okay, we played, and here he could have forced a draw, but as you can see, he has 56 seconds, and for some reason he went back. And he also spent a lot of time. I haven't asked him what happened, but it seems that he thought that his rook is needed back, and suddenly he's lost again. So all I need to do is bring back this knight like this, and then I will threaten checkmate. So that's one idea. Or just when the knight gets to f4, I can push this pawn, king goes back, then knight goes here, and if he captures, this is a checkmate. So this is the basic idea. It might be executed a little bit differently depending on what black does. But I first played f3, and after bishop b1 I started this retreat of the knight, but as you can see, Mark had only 7 seconds, so here he actually blundered an exchange, and now the position is hopeless. Unfortunately, it finished in 2 moves, unfortunately for Mark. So good fighting game, a little bit of luck in the end, and I'm happy with the combination I made by sacrificing the rook and going for this attack and everything. I'm not happy later with queen f6, but what can you do? I messed up. I was not strong enough to see the best continuation, but I was a little bit lucky in the end. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.